So my name is Marcia Broomfield, and I am a sales enablement manager at NICE. I've been at NICE for 11 years, but I've been in the contact center industry for 20 plus years. All about transformation. NICE is a transformational company. They started out as a recording company, and then they grew into a WM leader, and then as we acquired other companies, we became an analytics powerhouse. And then we also moved everything into the cloud when we actually acquired InContact. So they are a transformational company. Before I worked for NICE, I was a senior manager of continuous improvement, and I worked with lean quality management principles to basically do continuous improvement in the contact center. So I'm a transformational person. That's change management is what I do. Like, I'm a NICER, right? It's all about transformation. So to navigate change management efficiently, you really need to get the people involved. You need to get the end users, the people who are going to be using the platform, get them involved in the changes, make sure that they feel comfortable with what's happening. And what's in it for me, right? That's what they want to know. So if you get them involved, it makes that transition much easier. We actually had a Highspot from our InContact acquisition. And it wasn't really used as a sales enablement platform. It was used as a document repository. So the sales enablement team took on the adoption of Highspot in 2023. And we started with a governance of 8%. And so when we started looking at everything, the first thing that we had to do was really focus on our publishers. We needed to take some time and train them, go through content management with them, really make them understand what governance is. And then it was time to take their access away, right? Because we actually had 130 publishers, and they were basically open to do anything in the system, which kind of created chaos. So we took away some of their access, but it wasn't like we took away their access. We just streamlined it so that they had their very specific spot. And then from there, we started putting in the policies. And we did those in stages. So those stages were to make sure that it wasn't like all of a sudden we shut everything down. It was a gradual progression, and then we educated as we went along through that progression. And then finally, we put in the 14-month expiration date. We put in all the descriptions, and made sure that all of the policies were included. And then from there, we continued to do content management training. We had the office hours. We had coaching monthly hours with the sales teams. So we spent a lot of time to make sure that we actually educated and did the training that was needed with them. So our score now is 45%. I just had to throw that in there. Yay. So we really want to make sure that the content is at the fingertips of the sellers. We want to make sure it's relevant, it's current, and that they have easy access. They can navigate through the system very easily to find it. So that was one of our challenges. It was to actually have all of that in place for them. So I find that doing that allows them to have access to the content. We're not giving out old information to our customers, and it's readily available to them. We had content in several different places, right? And it was very hard to find things. As a solution engineer, I used to go into so many different places just to find content. It was crazy. It was hard to find. So that was one of the main issues. It was really to bring all the content into one place. One of the things that really does impact the sellers is the digital rooms. They love the digital rooms. And it really is a great tool for us to really identify buyer engagement, to have that deal velocity to kind of keep the deal going. and to really kind of help to understand what our buyers are looking at and be able to pivot. So during a sales cycle, if all of a sudden your buyer is looking at something else, now you need to pivot and start giving them that information. So that's one of the things that really helps with the sales cycle. So there's two types of trainings. There's the training of the platform for Highspot, and then there's a training of our sellers. So for training our publishers, training our sellers on Highspot, we have coaching hours, we have office hours, and we have separate publisher training that we do. And then we just do, quick hits, tips and tricks, things like that as well. And then for our sellers, we actually have formal training. We have an LMS system. We don't use Highspot for the training and coaching, but we do use Seller Central. That's what we call it. Seller Central is our main sales enablement solution. So we do actually tie in our learning management system and go through navigation to get back to that. The mobile app is something that they use as well. So when we have like any kind of webinars or things like that, we might post it on Highspot, and then they can actually use the mobile app. I've heard a lot of them say that the mobile app is actually something that they like to use when they're on the train or whatever, and they can just listen to a couple of sessions. So the mobile app is something that we are adopting right now. So the analytics in Highspot, we use that to be able to see like our top views, our buyer engagement, understand what the buyers are looking at, how many hours are they spending to look at our stuff. Also, we take that information out of the system and we use Power BI to actually bring it into our sales enablement dashboards. Genomics is something that I really like, and that is now being able to get insight into what content is aligned to the revenue. And I really think that's a positive thing, because now we can actually say these are the content items that are having an impact on our opportunities in our sales. So those are the few that we really like. The scorecards are really positive too. I think that makes it easy for the publishers to actually see what's happening with their content. The way that we redesigned the platform, it makes it easier for like the product owners to actually have one spot with all of their content. And that now enables them to go into the scorecard and just view all of their content in one spot, and they can see what's happening and if it's working, if some of the content's not viewed, how can they update it, archive it, or delete it, right? So it's definitely a good positive thing to have that scorecard available to them. They are crucial. They are crucial. I think especially when we were going through this change, this transition, I had to change the mindset of this document repository and change them from that mindset. And, having them there to support us, the changing their meetings from monthly to bi-weekly, and to constantly be available to let me know what enhancements to add, and also if I needed some support, they were there. So it was crucial for me to have that support, to be able to change, because we redesigned the entire platform. So for me to redesign that, I needed that support. And right now with my two TAMs, they are super awesome. I send them, requests, and they respond immediately, and they either can find the solution or they give me a workaround, So I really think it's also a relationship. Having them kind of makes you have a relationship with the company, right? So if I didn't have anybody, then I kind of would feel like I'm on an island, right? So this is where if you have really good support, then you feel like you're more connected. I think one of the biggest challenges when it comes to content management is our reps using old content. Like they have it on their computers. They love their very specific content, right? And as things progress, we change so often, and we change our messaging so often, and then having our sellers go to a customer with old messaging or old slides, it's very difficult. So that was a big challenge, and I think Highspot is what kind of changed that. And it was mainly because now we consolidated all of our content into one place, and then we changed that document repository mindset. So we got rid of a lot of content. Like we went in and archived tons of content from like that were old. And we made sure that everything was relevant and current. So that allowed now us to get rid of that. Now they have their own spot where they can bookmark the content into it. They can remix like multiple presentations and create their own presentation. And then also when there's updates to those presentations, those updates actually transfer over to their spot. So I think that is one of the biggest challenges that Highspot has helped us kind of get through. I think one of the biggest things, and it's also because I come from a continuous improvement background, is never stop improving. A lot of times people say, this is the way we've always done it. You know what? It's not acceptable, right? Because you don't know if that's the most efficient way, just because you've done it that way in the past. So it's always improve. Always look for small areas of improvement. It doesn't have to be large things. It doesn't have to be a big project, but you just want to always continuously improve. Look for areas that will benefit your end user, and always look at the entire platform from the end user's point of view, right? A lot of times people will go in and they'll just configure it for what they want. For instance, when we had the platform initially, it was really configured for marketing, right? So it was configured with pillars, and that's not the way that our sellers look for things. So it made it difficult for them to find things. So you really want to look at it from the end user's perspective and then drive change.